Fit, Fastrack to IT, has been doing fantastic work helping people find different ways to enter the technology sector through its apprenticeship programs. This week, we're going to meet some of their candidates who have gained essential experience through placements with companies large and small throughout Ireland. Kerri Ann Rusk and Jack Yeates are at Salesforce, Dylan Kavanagh at Musgraves and Dave Daly at Trend Micro shared their experiences with Fit with Niall Kitson.
Kerri Ann, for those who aren't familiar with Fit, can you tell us a little bit about how you came across them?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I got out of school, I kind of didn't know where to go, what to do. So I decided that, I might go down the apprenticeship route because cost had been a bit of a barrier for me. So I went online and I was searching up different apprenticeship programs because I didn't know what I wanted to do. There were so many different directions I could go in and it was very overwhelming. So I found apprenticeships.ie and on that website was numerous different apprenticeship programs. And I checked that, didn't see anything that took my fancy. A couple months went by and I checked it again and there were these new courses that had been added, and Fit's courses were some of them, and they kind of took my fancy. I thought that was a really cool program, all of the different tech apprenticeships, because there was nothing else like it on any of the other apprenticeship websites. So I delved a little deeper into it, and it brought me to Fit's website itself, where I was able to read up on more of it. So I applied because I thought, why not? What's the worst that can happen? And the application process was nice. It was really casual and really laid back and not intimidating. It was very welcoming and friendly. They made the process really easy. Fit helped me through it. They helped me through making my CV. They helped me through kind of detailing out my interests for my employer. I was able to kind of go into the meetings and interviews with Salesforce with absolute confidence because of Fit's support. The interview for Salesforce was, I won't lie, it was a little bit intimidating. There were a couple of interview stages over the phone where they kind of talked to me and got a grasp of, where I am in my journey and where I want to go, my ambitions. And then they brought us into a really, really large call with over 100 people, which was very intimidating. But it was also very welcoming at the same time because everybody got to say their piece and there was really good icebreakers. And it was essentially an assessment centre. We got to take time to work together and collaborate on different kind of activities, which really allowed us to show our skills and like transferable skills that might apply to the job roles that we were applying to at Salesforce. And there was a fantastic host as well. There was a couple more interviews after that then, once we got through that day. So overall, it kind of similar to any other job position or college, but also very intriguing with the assessment centre. That was a really fun day, and looking back on it, I kind of hope that I get to be involved in it someday, because it was a really enjoyable day for me at the time.
Jack, you're there in Salesforce as well, also in software development. Tell us a little bit about the skills that you've picked up, because one imagines that, yes, you've been picking up some, I suppose, hard skills, but there's also soft skills as well. So tell us a little bit about what you've been learning.
With my time at Salesforce, specifically, it's been instrumental in enhancing my soft skills, which I'm sure we all know are just as crucial as technical skills nowadays in the workplace. I've seen a significant growth in some areas such as communication, public speaking, documentation and networking specifically. Salesforce really, champions for personal as well as professional growth of their employees. and have provided me with numerous opportunities for us to refine these skills in real world scenarios that we can put in place. For instance, like I've had the chance to host Q&A sessions with senior level employees, which I never believed that I'd be doing before. And this was not only a great way to learn from these professionals, but also help me polish up on my public speaking communication skills. Additionally, Salesforce also organized us insight days where us as apprentices can share our experiences like going forward. And this is a fantastic platform to be able to practice our public speaking and allow us to contribute to the community that we are a part of by sharing our journey with others that might also be considering a similar path. These experiences, like alongside fireside chats with industry leaders and attending tech conferences and engaging with these community services have helped me a significant part in my development. If it wasn't just for learning to speak well, but also with networking effectively, it was also about building confidence and understanding the value of connecting and having clear communication in this professional world. And honestly, while the learning curve was steep in the beginning, the supportive environment at Salesforce was definitely made these challenges a lot more exciting than they would have been daunting as I would have expected.
Dave, just to move the conversation off to your direction, you're with Trend Micro at the moment. Of course, networking being, I suppose, a backbone industry, I suppose you could say, when it comes to the internet. Maybe not the most glamorous, but certainly one of the most essential parts of the tech sector. What made you gravitate towards it?
Like you said, when I was deciding between the apprenticeships, I thought to myself, okay, it was either going to be cyber or network engineering. And I thought, networking, as you said, is the backbone of any organization or business. So I thought, okay, even if I was to just do the network engineering apprenticeship and then later on I could pivot towards security, because I think all aspects of IT, it all comes back to networking eventually. So even if I got a good foundation in networking, I could then take that foundation and apply it to like maybe the cyber industry and go down the security route. And with Trend Micro being an absolute titan in the cybersecurity space, I was like, okay, these skills will be applicable here no matter what I do,
Yeah, and cybersecurity having a massive vacuum when it comes to talent in Ireland at the moment. So looking long term, then, do you see security as being sort of your natural home? Yeah,
definitely. When I started the apprenticeship, I thought, network engineering was going to be my future, but now working in the cyberspace and actually getting that hands-on experience in the industry, I'm definitely going to pivot more towards cyber. But like I said, I could take the skills that I have from networking and make them applicable in cyber.
Dylan, just to bring you into the conversation here now, and just looking at the kind of perhaps projects or skills you have managed to acquire, can you share with us any particular achievements along your journey so far?
Yeah, of course. I think probably the most important one to mention, obviously throughout the apprenticeship, were given exams to do. And something I never taught myself or I thought I'd see myself doing was my lecturer I had mentioned that, hey, maybe if you guys feel like you can sit the exam early, you're more than welcome to do that. And if you feel like it, you could sit some exams maybe outside of the scope of what we were required to do. And if you had asked me in school if I had wanted to do more exams than we were required to do, the answer would have definitely been no. But I found like very early in the course, within like 3 or 4 months, I'd sat one of my exams early and I was like, you know what? maybe I do want to do an extra exam, because now it wasn't just a required learning. It was like, this is for your future. Like, it's for your ability to do what you can and work and further that. So there was quite a big like mindset change of just study, sit your exam, you're done, to study, sit your exam, and then, hey, maybe the next time I go into work, I'll know something more. So I think not just like, you were mentioning like abilities and like for projects and stuff like that. It wasn't just like for my own personal, I just had to get it done. It actually switched my whole mindset of like what I wanted to do and how I wanted to work. And that definitely affected how like I'd go on to do projects and stuff like that. If that makes sense.
Jack, would you echo those? Jack, would you echo those sentiments?
Definitely. I mean, like when it comes to things that like are achieved across the apprenticeship and wanting to kind of go outside that scope, I definitely believe that once you go into an industry that you're not expecting to do so well in, and you find yourself exceeding those expectations, not just from your peers or not just from like your lecturers, but also exceeding those expectations of yourself, I think it definitely does give you that kind of driving force to kind of want to push your way through and be like, well, if I'm doing well now, let me see how far I can go till maybe I hit that wall. And you genuinely do surprise yourself with how far you actually are able to go when you are working on something that you are a lot more passionate about or find a lot more interest in than maybe you would have done when you were at school and you were kind of forced upon those things when the option is given to you of, would you like to? And you're like, no, actually, I would really like to see how far I can kind of go. I think it definitely does open up your mind a lot more.
Kerri, just in terms of being in such a large workforce with people that came to technology from a background different from your own, did you find a sort of positive experience of that kind of peer-to-peer learning where you're, working in teams with people that have had a more scholastic or a more academic background? And did you find that the skills that you brought or the practical experience that you brought really complemented what you were working with in a team?
Definitely. I feel like a wide variety of people and experiences are really valuable in a big company. Because, as a big company, you don't want to have all of the same opinions and you don't want to have all of the same perspectives. And I feel like Salesforce in particular are really, really good at, encouraging people to bring their opinions forward and to help each other. Personally, even within the apprenticeship program itself, there were people who I was able to learn from who had an academic background in technology. Many, many people in the apprenticeship program have gone to, a computer science degree or, they've previously worked in customer tech support or different bits and pieces like that. And that's really valuable to them and they can bring their perspective into the conversation. And I've learned a lot from those people. And likewise, there have been times where people have approached me and they've been asking me about the more practical side of things, or the more conversational side of things, asking me for, interview advice or documentation advice, things like that. And, the knowledge sharing within Salesforce is fantastic. It's encouraged. We're all on an even playing field. And the people who work there as well are always very welcoming of us. And I feel like that really gives us the opportunity to, branch out, talk to these people. Because the team that I'm in particular, I feel like I got very lucky. They're incredibly encouraging of me, reaching out to other teams. I'm very settled in my team now and I got a little bit comfortable and they were like, Kerri, why don't you talk to these people? Why don't you bring those people into your circle? I feel like they could benefit you. And so, I do definitely feel like I've had a positive experience in the workplace, even with a really massive company. I do feel like I've been able to take advantage of that and hear all of those different perspectives. So, yeah.
Dave, just on that point of corporate culture, the tech sector has kind of a reputation of being, much younger, of a certain demographic. As somebody coming into the tech sector from a different background, have you found any sort of adjustments that you had to make, or was it a fairly seamless transition that once you were kind of task focused, all those other elements really didn't come to, really weren't factors?
I think I was lucky with getting placed with Trend because of the team I'm on. Kind of like what Kerri said, they've been so patient with me, they've been so helpful, and they've made that transition like super easy, and I think any worries that I had going into it were just my own, coming from an industry where I solely work by myself to an industry where you're in a team focused environment, that was the biggest challenge for me, but they were so welcoming and helpful, and, they've made me want to be a part of the team in the future, so yeah, it's great.
Dylan, just to wrap up our conversation, if you were to give any advice to somebody considering an apprenticeship, what would it be?
I don't know if I can speak for everybody on this, but at least in the schools I had went to and the place where I grew up, like the apprenticeships, when people talked about them, it was like there was lesser importance put on them, at least from like the people I knew. And it was always kind of like, college is the way to go. You need to go to college if you want a job and stuff like that. So it was always on like the back of my mind, and there was something I had never put much thought to until, like Kerri was saying earlier, when she was looking at the website and all of a sudden there was more popping up and there was new courses popping up constantly. And I actually got to look into it, and I'd gone to college myself. I'd done computer science in college, and I much prefer the like concept of studying and being on work placement. And it was just something that I felt like if it wasn't so pushed down previously, I would have gone for way earlier than even thinking of applying for college. Unfortunately, it was just something that even my career guidance like counselor in school was like, oh, you need to go to college. It's the best place to go. And I wish more people knew that there's like more options out there and how good they are. Like, I'm in a brilliant team who have taught me so much in the little like amount of time that I've been with them. And again, more than like I even thought that I would have been able to learn before. And like I said about the exams, wanting to do it and being in a place that makes me want to work better. I just wish more people would look into it and take the time to realize that there's not only like one or two options, there is so many options out there. And even within the apprenticeship space, there is so many new ones even popping up today. I had a look at it like a couple of months ago compared to when I first looked at it. And there are like multiple courses I'd never even heard of before. So I do think it's like, if you're thinking about it, the leap is so worth it. And I haven't met someone within my class yet that has regretted it. So.
And that was Niall Kitson talking with a panel of fit apprentices, talking about a different route into a career in IT. If you'd like to learn more about it on two sides, either jumping in on the program yourself to get into the technology sector, or to use it as a route for getting apprentices into your company, you can find out more at fit.ie. That's fit.ie.